I just want to go over what I have around. It probably looks like a lot, but I have got a blanket. This is a very strong suggestion. I strongly suggest that you have a blanket and at least one pillow of any shape, size, whatever. I have several small pillows. These are like seat or cushions that go on chairs, actually. And then I have over here to my right, I've got a pillow that I sleep with. So this is a firmer pillow, but they're a really good size. Like they take up most of the torso. And then I have a chair. So these are all optional. I strongly suggest the blanket and a pillow of some sort. The chair or the big pillow, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you'd like to use. I'm going to make suggestions with them today, but if you don't use them, if you don't have them, that's totally fine as well. Okay, so I'm gonna put those aside and let's get comfortable. So I'm going to make my way into a seated position in a moment, but I want to suggest that you get yourself into a comfortable place. So whether you want to potentially lay down on your back, I know that some people find laying on their back comfortable, maybe a pillow under the head, maybe some sort of support underneath of your legs. I often like to have my feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling. We're going to come into this shape a little later, but if you want to start here as well, if you have the chair, you can always bring your legs on top of the chair. So typically, I would suggest that you scoot the chair all the way up so that you are able to have the backs of your knees nice and comfortable underneath. This is going to flatten out your low back against the ground, and we can go through all sorts of other options with it later. But if this is a comfortable place for you, you can start here, laying down, or potentially even seated. So I'm too going to get comfy. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Breanna, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys today and to help guide you through your own practice. This is going to be a 60-minute restorative class, and I always suggest props. I am going to be your regular teacher moving forward, so you know that I will always suggest a blanket and a pillow every time that you come to class. And feel free to come with special requests or feedback as to how you felt last week, what you liked, what you didn't like, and we can always make it a process. This is your time. It is your class. It is your body, it is your experience. So please take everything I say as a suggestion. Give it a try, maybe explore it, but only do what you want to do. Skip the poses you don't want to do. Stay in the ones you love. Make it your own. With that said, make any little wiggles and adjustments to your posture now. And then perhaps join me in taking a long, slow breath in through the nose. And a big sigh out the mouth. You're welcome to have your eyes opened or closed. And this is a great time to just notice and check in with yourself. Maybe noticing the pace of your thoughts. You might tune into what emotions you brought with you to class today. And then tuning into your physical body. What sensations are calling for your attention? Perhaps scanning your body from your toes to the crown of your head. Noticing the areas of your body that are tight or tense. Maybe areas of aches or pain. And also tune in to the areas that are quiet, that feel good and relaxed. Just continue to listen to the sensations in the body with a sense of curiosity. And I want to encourage you to keep this sense of wondering, this sense of curiosity throughout our entire practice today. And if you're ready, you can move on to getting curious about the breath. Observing the air as it comes in through the nose or the mouth. Observing the air as it leaves the body. And just starting to notice the quality, the depth, and the experience of your breath. Maybe take a moment to move your head a little side to side in whatever position that you're in. If your eyes are closed, you might blink them quite a few times and then open them. When you're ready, be very gentle, very mindful, very slow to roll yourself up to a seated position. Our first shape today is going to be quite a bit more upright than the rest of our practice. It's going to be one that I suggest using either the chair or the large pillow for. So again, if you don't have those, it's going to be okay. But they'll make things quite a bit more comfortable. And comfort is a key element of restorative yoga. I want to turn sideways here just so that you can see my body a little easier. Here I want to suggest a butterfly pose. So you have two pose options for your legs. It depends what's feeling best for you. And I'm going to take these two extra cushions and have them nearby. So soles of the feet together and knees open wide. Okay. Now you might notice there's space between my legs and the ground. This is where these cushions come in. I'm going to fold mine in half since they're really, really thin so that they support the thighs. Now in most yoga classes, you're going for a sensation of stretch. In this class, we are not. We are moving our body into a shape and then supporting it with as many props as possible so that our body can feel the support and let go of the tension. You'll be surprised, well, hopefully you'll be surprised at just how relaxing that experience can be and how free you might be able to feel in your body afterwards. Now this is where the chair comes into play. Here I like to fold forward and rest on my chair. So there's a few options. You can grab opposite elbows or let your hands rest on your forearms and then rest your head on your arms. Some people like to rest their forehead directly on the chair. And this allows for a gentle rounding of the spine while connecting the forehead and resting it and the weight of the head on the chair. If you're wanting a little bit more sensation, maybe you have very flexible hips, you can just move that chair a little bit further away from you, and that'll help you find a little more depth. Now, if you don't have a chair, that's fine, no big deal. This firm pillow you could use in place of it. So I'm going to actually stick my pillow on top of my feet on a bit of an angle and then rest my forehead against the pillow. And it's going to support just as well. Those are two options for your head. Now, if you don't have anything at all, there is going to be a bit more sensation for you. Let's just allow yourself to round forward and allow your head to dangle. In our practice, it's important to get all of your wiggles out. And then continuously offer yourself those little adjustments. Get into a shape, give yourself those little adjustments. Maybe, move your hair from one side or grab a blanket or a sweater or adjust the props that you're using. Comfort is a key principle of practice. You might try asking yourself, if I could be 1% more comfortable, what would I do? What would I change? What would I add or take away? And then give yourself that gift of that extra comfort. At this time, you might enjoy drawing your awareness to your breath and starting to observe the flow of the inhale and the flow of the exhale. And if you're up for it, you might encourage each breath to be a little longer, a little smoother and a little softer than the breath before. Encouraging each inhale to be a little longer, a little smoother, a little softer. And encouraging each exhale to be a little longer, a little smoother, and a little softer. Breathing deeply. Breathing in and breathing out. Taking a final breath just as you are. In whatever shape you're in, whatever position you're in, you might join me in guiding your hands onto the floor and feeling the texture of your mat or the floor. Feeling the sensation of the pads of the fingers against the floor, the outer edge of the palms, maybe even the knuckles of the hands. And then gently begin to push your hands, adding a little more weight into the hands, and then walking yourself extra slow all the way back up to seated. Once your shoulders are over your hips, it's a great time to pause, to take a breath in and a breath out. Perhaps guiding your right ear to your right shoulder and allowing the head to be heavy. And coming back to center and left ear to left shoulder. And gently back to center. It's a good time, if you have a chair or firm pillow in front of you, to just scoot it away. And then guiding your hands to the outer edges of your thighs, guiding your knees up to the ceiling, feet flat on the floor. I like to bring my hands behind and windshield wiper them side to side, If you prefer to extend your legs and shake them out, that's another option. And the pillows, if you use them under your legs, can pile up to the side. They're there for the future. And we'll get ready for our next little sequence of movements. So we're going to do 2 shapes on the right side, and then we'll make our way to doing it on the left side. Okay, so for this, I really want to strongly suggest you use a blanket. In fact, you need something, whether it's a pillow or a blanket. Now, if you have your blanket, you could fold it into a long rectangle. A long rectangle. And then once you have that long rectangle, you can roll it up. So the way mine's folded, it's fairly big, so I'm going to take the short side and roll it, but you can roll the short side or the long side. If you start rolling the short side, you're going to end up with something a little thicker. I have a nice thin blanket, so that's going to work well for me. If you have a really, really big bulky one, you might want to roll it lengthwise so that it's not too thick for you. Okay. So first, I just want to take the opportunity to show you the plan, because once we get into it, it can be a bit relaxing, and then it can be difficult to kind of know what's happening once we're in that state. So I want to show you the game plan first. It's going to be a side lying position. So I'm going to turn away from you so that you can see what happens with my back a little easier. So I've got a pillow up here for my head. When I get down there, I'll actually be folding it in half to give my head a little additional support. And then I've got this blanket lined up so that it's going to come underneath of the rib cage. So this is a side lying position. We're doing a side body opener here. When you're ready, you could, well, I'm going to show you first, but coming down to the forearm and then all the way down. So my shoulder is going to end up on the mat, pillow under the head, and then this will be the first position, blanket underneath of rib cage. The second position is going to be a slight change. So we'll come back up onto that forearm, and then the side of the blanket that's closest to you, you're going to just push it down and bring it slightly behind you. So you can see I've got that whole roll of a blanket behind me. And then I'm going to bring that right shoulder to the mat once again, and then open up into a twist. And this way the blanket lines up nicely to support. You don't have to remember all that. I am going to walk you through it step by step. So if you're ready to join me, let's get our roll and let's bring it and line it up for underneath of your rib cage. I'm sitting on the right hip. An extra little add-on is to bring another blanket or pillow underneath of your right hip for comfort. Pillow under the head. And another little extra add-on would be using some additional cushions. So maybe in between your legs is comfortable for those, or even underneath of them. I like my pillows in between the hips. It keeps the knees hip distance apart, which is most comfortable for the low back. So from here we can lower down onto the forearm and then down onto the shoulder, bringing the head onto the mat. Option to fold up your pillow. This is a new shape, so you might decide how you feel about it. You might feel like your roll is too big or too small. This is your time to fix it. We're going to be in this shape for quite a few minutes, so if you need to fix it, I would, so that you can enjoy and fully rest in this shape. Now I'm going to come up to seated during this shape, just so that I can talk a little easier, but please stay in your side lying position as long as it serves you. You'll notice throughout the classes, I often will look down to my watch. It's so that I set a little timer to ensure that we're on both sides of the body for equal lengths of time. Now in this sideline position, I'd like to share with you a little bit about why we're doing this position. It's incredibly beneficial to the spine to be moved in all of its directions every single day. Our spine can move forward and back. It can move side to side, and it can twist. So we're going to do all of those today. So far, we've moved it into a forward fold. A little bit later, we'll do a bit of an extension. Right now, we're doing one of its sides. Additionally, when we work with the area around the rib cage, and we give gentle support like this prop under the rib cage, we want to encourage the body to get heavy over the prop, to drape over it, and to let go of any additional excess tension. What this does is it encourages all of those accessory breathing muscles to soften and to relax. And by the end of it, hopefully, you can breathe a little easier. All this talk about the breath, let's focus in on the breath. Perhaps joining me for a long, slow inhale. Then hold it. Long, slow exhale. And allow for a few natural breaths to come and go. And again, a long, slow inhale, just to the point of resistance. Fill up your belly, your ribcage, your chest. Hold. A long, slow exhale, allowing every drop to leave, pulling in the belly and the rib cage. And then a few natural breaths. Now see if you can do that cycle all on your own, a very full, very slow breath, followed by a few natural cycles of breath. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Know that if you do not wish to move, you do not need to move. You're welcome to stay here for the whole class if you wanted to. If you'd like to move, I invite you to slowly press up onto your right forearm. And with your left hand, grab your rolled up blanket and scoot it 90 degrees turning it 90 degrees and scooting it right behind you. So that you can bring your right shoulder down onto the ground, flat, and then roll open your left shoulder and allow it to rest on that rolled up blanket. Your legs might have a little bit of sensation in them. You can choose to do with them whatever you'd like. Maybe you didn't have pillows in between the legs before, but now it feels like a good idea. Oh, excuse me with the yawn. The lower the legs are down, the less the twist. The higher up they are, the deeper the twist is in the upper body. So you might play with moving your knees up or down, closer to your torso or away. And find a place of comfort. And then allowing your hands to move into a place of comfort. For some, that's sprawling their arms open. For others, that's allowing the hands to rest on their bodies. Finding a place of comfort. In these shapes, we hold for a long period of time, allowing for our bodies to relax. And for many of us, that's incredibly difficult. You might try explicitly stating in your mind that you have permission to let go and to relax. I know when I finally started to tell myself out loud in my own mind that it was okay to relax, it was okay to let go of muscle tension, that it really changed my practice. So you might try giving yourself permission to relax. If you're the competitive type, you might see how much you can let go, how much can you soften. I often find the breath a helpful tool for letting go. Staying with that centering breath we did in the last shape, breathing in deeply. And then on the long, slow exhale, allow the body to become heavy. And with each natural exhale that follows, allowing for the body to be a little heavier, and a little heavier. If you've noticed your mind wandering away into thought, you might just bring it back, focusing on breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Taking another breath as you are. And when you're ready, only if you want to, rolling that left shoulder just stack on top of the right, coming to the right side of the body. And then very, very slowly pressing yourself up onto your hands. And just pausing here. Noticing the sensations in your body. Then we'll move into our twist on the other side first. So grab this roll and bring it over to the other side of your mat. Okay? And then we're going to come on to your hips once again. If you have pillows in between your knees, you might keep them there. If you have pillows on the ground underneath of your knees, you might just move those over to the other side. And then bring yourself onto your left hip. From here, slowly lower your left shoulder to the ground, and then peel that right shoulder open into your twist. You can rest your hands on your body or let them fall open. Make any and all adjustments to your shape here. And as you become more and more relaxed, it's a very common experience to notice your temperature lowering. If you'd like to put on a pair of socks or cover up with a blanket, those are all great options. And then settling in. Can you allow your body to become heavy and relaxed? Can you allow your jaw to soften? Can you allow your eyebrows to soften? Breathing in. And breathing out. When you notice your mind drifting away into thought, it can help to bring it back to the flow of the breath. Observing the flow of your inhale and encouraging each exhale to be a little longer, a little smoother, a little softer than the breath before. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Taking another breath just as you are. Remember, if you don't wish to move, you don't need to move. I'd like to invite you into your side lying position on the left. Perhaps rolling your right shoulder to stack on top of the left, rolling to your left side body. Gently pressing your right hand and then your left into the mat to grab your blanket roll and turn it sideways, rotating the blanket 90 degrees, and then guiding yourself so that your rib cage lowers onto that blanket roll and that your head comes underneath of the pillow, or on top of the pillow, sorry. And allowing yourself to get comfortable in the side lying position. Now please stay as you are. I am going to move to a seated position so that I can continue to talk a little more easily. Now in this side lying position, you might notice how it feels compared to the other side. It might feel a little more heavy, maybe more restricted or easier. Just noticing the experience without any judgment. Simply becoming aware. finding your breath. And even if you aren't expanding it, you might just observe your rhythm. Observe the varying quality from breath to breath. The sensation of breathing in. The sensation of breathing out. If you're ready to come out of this shape, you might begin by coming onto your right hand and then your left, pressing yourself nice and slow all the way up onto your left hip. Pausing here. Just noticing the sensations in your body. I'd like to get you ready for our next and final shape. There's going to be an opportunity to kind of open up the chest a little bit here and to find deep rest. I'd like to start with the upper body position. The simplest is to just lay down on your back. The next little add-on would be to have a pillow for under your head. The third would be to create a bit of an opening. Now, if you have a rolled up blanket, if you've been using it, you might guide that lengthwise on your mat as if your spine will lay entirely on that blanket. If you have a fairly firm blanket, that's going to work out very well for you. If you either have a not so firm blanket, like I do, or you have difficulties breathing on your back, like I do, then you might try out creating a ramp with pillows and then using the blanket as a overtop. So I have 3 small pillows. So I'm going to put 2 side by side, and then I'm going to stack a third on top of the pillow that's furthest away from me. Alternatively, if you have a long pillow, you can bring that resting with one end on top of a short pillow. Then we'll take this blanket and lengthwise along this setup. Okay? Going a little bit upright so that you get a bit of a heart opener here. Let's talk about the legs for a minute. So you have a couple options. Once again, the simplest is just to let your legs splay out comfortably. The next option, if you have it, if you have got a big pillow or couch cushion even, they come underneath of your legs. If it can turn up sideways or even fold in half, this is like really nice because the support of the pillow is nice and firm underneath of the legs. When we bring a gentle curve into the legs like this, with support under the thighs or the knees, we allow the back to have a gentler curve against the ground. So it's really for your low back that you would guide something under the legs. Now today, if you have a chair with you, you would scoot your chair very, very close to you. Okay? And then you would scoot yourself right up against your pillow setup if you have it. And then slowly lower yourself down onto your pillow setup. And before you do anything with your legs, just check this out, see how it feels. I'm in a bit of a heart opener here. And if that's what you want to experience, then great, this is where you're at. If you're wanting to be a wee bit more relaxed, less of a chest opener, shoulder opener, then you might think about taking away that blanket so that you are slowly ramped up. This is going to be the easiest position now to breathe in. The head is higher than the heart is higher than the hips. So choosing your option for your upper body and making sure that your low back, your head is comfortable, you're a good temperature, if you want to put a blanket over the body. And as an extra little add-on, if you have something nearby, scarf, sock, extra blanket, just draping something, anything over the eyes can be incredibly soothing for some people. So you can always give it a try and see how it feels. Now, if you have the chair, you're totally set up, then you might guide your legs on top of the seat of the chair. Now allow your feet and knees to do whatever they want. My knees like to go a little bit outwards. My feet are a little bit lifted. And you can just check in with your body. Now, if you have the long pillow and the chair, basically if you have anything left, you could try two positions. One, bring the pillow on top of the calves. I cannot explain why I find this comforting in the body, but I really do. The next, or the other option, is right on the belly, on the hip crease. I also find this quite comforting. So as you can see, there are endless opportunities for comfort. And I want to encourage you to always bring as many things as you can with you to class to really optimize for that comfort. Now, once again, please stay in your comfortable position. I'm now going to move up to seated to guide you through a little bit of a intentional relaxation. Now, you always have the freedom to tune out the sound of my voice. And if you'd like, you can follow my instructions. Starting with noticing all parts of your body that are connected to the ground or to the supports, like your chair or the pillows beneath your back and head. And then taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, allowing your body to become heavy and relaxed into the ground, into your supports. Breathing in. And breathing out, allowing your body to become heavy and relaxed. allowing your body to be heavy and relaxed. Allowing your forehead and eyebrows to melt away any tension. Allow your jaw and lips to soften. To feel your shoulders heavy, hips heavy, legs heavy. Know that in the next 2 minutes I will guide you out. Please join me in taking a breath in and a breath out. I'd like to invite you now to notice your overall experience. How are you feeling in your body, in your mind, your emotions? Maybe the pace of your thoughts. And if you'd like, you can label this experience into one word or short phrase. And if this is an experience you'd like to continue to take with you throughout the day, you might repeat that phrase or short word to yourself several times. And if not, you can just take a breath in and breath out and let it go. Please begin to bring yourself back into this space. You might wiggle your jaw side to side. Take a little bit of a pencil stretch, reaching your arms overhead, stretching out your legs. I always love to blink my eyes a few times before committing to opening them. Please be gentle with yourselves. Be kind, be compassionate. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. It has been my absolute pleasure and honor to guide you through your practice. If you like, you can take a gesture of completion, whatever that feels good to you. I'm going to take Anjali Mudra, hands together in front of my heart, resembling gratitude. Namaste.